Hi, everybody. Welcome to All Games New and Old. I'm David Rodriguez.
And I'm Hilar Rodriguez.
And we're here with another one of our versus videos that we've talked about doing a while now. I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah.
So we are actually comparing 3 trading card games. We are comparing Disney's Lorcana, Grand Archive, and Magic the Gathering. Now, we did a video before where we just compared Lorcana to Grand Archive because they're both relatively new on the scene. I think Grand Archive officially came out in 2022. Lorcana just came out in 2023. But I felt like we couldn't ignore the big one, the elephant in the room, Magic the Gathering. Because it's probably, well, I don't know actually how it compares to like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's probably one of the biggest. It is definitely one of the biggest out there. And we're coming at this from a total noob's perspective, really. Like, I'd played way back in, like, the late 90s at some point, just, like, a few games. I played, like, a couple games on Magic Arena, but really pretty much noobs. And you hadn't played it all, had you? Or?
Me and my best friend in middle school, we tried to play it, but neither one of us really knew how to play the game, so it's blind leading the blind, and the game store didn't want to touch us because we're girls, so...
Yeah. Sucks. That sucks. Hopefully things are at least improving in that area. So, you know, we did the comparison of the two others, Lorcana and Grand Archive. We liked them both a good deal, I think. I think we both said we preferred Lorcana, although there's certainly good things and maybe bad things, too, with each of those. And we thought, even though that we liked Lorcana a little better, that Grand Archive might be targeting the same kind of audience in terms of the way it's competitive, I guess you could say, and the complexity, perhaps. Yeah. So we want to go ahead and bring that into discussion as well. So we will talk a little bit, I think, about Lorcana and Grand Archive compared to each other. But if you really want to see us get, you know, down in the dirt with that, probably watch that other video if you really want that specific thing. So, but this is a little different because we're going to talk about the big one. I think Magic the Gathering came out in, I want to say 1993. I'm definitely mid to late 90s. It's been around a long time and seen a lot of sets. So, kind of crazy. Which makes it intimidating to get into. There's so much. So let me tell you how we played this. Played Magic the Gathering to try it out. So we have the most recent 2-player starter set. We started playing with that. Then we both made a deck from the Wilds of Eldraine set. It's not the most recent one anymore, but it's like the second most recent. And then we played with the 2 Wilds of Eldraine Commander decks, so we could try out, you know, basically standard format and Commander. I know there's like a lot of formats we're just not gonna. We cannot try them all. And I don't think a new person, anyway, is going to, like, immediately say, let me try these 10 different formats. Or I just, you know, it's just to get an idea of how we feel about the games and getting into them.
And also to be able to, like, you know, this video probably isn't really going to be for, like, your heavy Magic player that's already playing. Yeah. Unless you are maybe interested in the other 2 games and want a comparison of that. This is really more of a video for people that are interested in starting in any of these games and to get an idea of how they play and what kind of feel they give, and kind of help direct you into which game that might be the best fit for you.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is a new thing for us. Like, we haven't done a lot of collectible games for the most part. We did Dice Masters, but that's kind of a different thing. And I like, you know, one-on-one card games, and I like collecting things. That's fun. So it was just kind of a matter to see, like, which ones are out there that I'd want to, you know, that we might want to stick with, or which ones we might want to just, like, have stuff around to play casually, etc. So I guess to start off, should we just talk about how we feel about Magic the Gathering?
Sure. We're
not doing a full review because it's impossible. It's so big. Like, there's no way we could cover all the bases of Magic the Gathering. It's, come on, man. Like, that'd be a years-long project.
Back in 1990.
Yeah. Again, so this is just from a noob's perspective. We use the Wilds of Eldraine set. There you go. That was our jumping in point. So, what are your thoughts?
I know I've mentioned this in a few of our other podcasts, but I am pretty severely dyslexic, and so cards like these that have a lot of text, a lot of abbreviations, a lot of special words can be very difficult for me. And this game is definitely no exception to that. Out of the 3 games, I think it's the hardest for me to wrap my head around some of the wording and, you know, all that kind of combined. Some of the iconography, I have a little bit of a hard time, like, not necessarily differentiating, but sometimes you're getting a mana from a card that's for a specific mana type, sometimes you aren't, and so, like, you know, sometimes the small differences in the iconography there got me a little confused. Like, I'm like, okay, does this mean it covers everything? Is this just does this work for just when I need just mana? Does it work for when I need a specific type of mana? You know, that kind of stuff still is a little difficult for me to pick up in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not dyslexic, but Magic players know this. I think because it's been around so long and they don't want to make like the same card like 50 different times, there can be a lot of text on here. Like, there is a lot on some of these to read. Some are kind of straightforward, but a lot of them that do like the fancier stuff are like, here's your like paragraph in small print that you have to kind of figure out, which, you know, that makes it a little bit steeper learning curve, you know, dyslexic or no, but dyslexia definitely doesn't make it easier, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I think, you know, one of the things with the game this long is there is like a bunch of keywords. Like, I printed out a list of keywords, I think from Wizard's site, and it still didn't have all the keywords that I came across, which is, I mean, you can look it up. It's not that huge a deal, but I mean, it is a large, like, influx of like things that you have to like figure out and be like, hold on, let me look this up real quick. Which I expected that. That wasn't a shock to me at all that was that way, but it's something to know if you're trying to get into this. Like, there's not like a rule book that comes with the game that covers all the possible rules and interchanges. There probably is. I bet there's a document out there that really like goes deep, but I don't want to read that probably 100-page document, whatever it is. So it is kind of tougher. Now, I will say for Magic, over the other 2, if you walk into a game store and you're like, I want to learn a trading card game, chances are you can find someone pretty damn fast to teach you Magic.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's been around for a long time for a reason. It's extremely, extremely popular to this day. And every game store is going to have people that play it. I can't imagine that you're going to have a lot of trouble. You know, even the people at the shop might be able to at least help you through it if you don't have someone immediately right there. But most stores host like Friday Night Magic if they have space. And, you know, different communities are going to be different, but as far as like being friendly and what have you, but it's very easy to go in and find someone to teach you the game if you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not always that comfortable doing that, to be honest with you. I do have friends willing to teach me, but I wanted to see coming into this like on my own, like how hard it was to like pick up and learn and figure it out just on our own, because that is going to be the situation some people are in, I think. So as far as just like the basic fun of the games, how do you feel this one, Magic the Gathering, I should say, compares to Lorcana and Grand Archive? Like, where, like, I don't know,
For me, I enjoyed this game the least as far as having fun playing it. And part of that does come from the struggles of having to read all the cards and how much text I'm having to go through to understand what each card does. Grand Archive also has that a little bit, but not to quite the same extent. And with Lorcana, there is some reading and iconography to it, but it's very simplified. And so, for me to, like, part of enjoying the game is for me to be able to just play it and not have to, like, really I like being able to come up with a strategy, but, when I'm having to, like, process a whole bunch of words, it, like, starts to break down, and, like, it's hard for me to enjoy the game if I'm having to really process a whole bunch of new words.
That makes sense. So, I'm sort of in the same boat with you as far as, like, of the 3, I feel like we're going to be really controversial and get a lot of mad. I don't know. I found Magic the least fun. Now, that is not to say that I didn't find it fun. Like, I liked playing it. It's good. I can see why it's really well designed. There's so much variety in the ways you can play and, of course, the cards you can play. I like being able to, like, mix the different mana types. Like, that's really cool. Like, it's fun. Like, the commander deck you used with the green and white, the ones that the pre-made, man, that sucker ramped up and just had like things popping out. I was like, God, like I was thinking it's gonna take forever for her to for either of us to knock 40 hit points off. Nope, it did not take forever. Let me tell you. So I like that variety, but here's what kind of struck me, and there may be people that will disagree with this. And again, we've not played every trading card game on the planet. Okay, we've played like these three for the most part. Because Magic is a game that's been around so long, it really honestly felt to me like it was very much the foundation of what the other two were, but I felt there's especially one big thing that I'll go into that the other two, in my opinion, improved upon from Magic. And here's what it is. So in Magic, if you haven't played it, you have, different types of mana in the game, which is it's kind of like factions if you want to think about that. You usually probably don't play with more than 2 in a deck. And so all your cards or most of your cards are coded to a mana type. And in order to play one that costs like 2 blue mana, you have to have 2 of the island cards out, because you get these land cards that you can tap, turn sideways to give yourself mana. So on your turn, if you have 2 blue ones, you can tap that and then you can play that 2-cost card. And that's fine, and it works. And I know in the game there's plenty of ways to kind of like get through your deck to find the cards you need once you figure out what those cards are. But in both Lorcana and Grand Archive, there's at least a potential for almost any card you have to be used as something that you can pay for other cards to go out with. In Lorcana, a lot of the cards can be inked, like almost any of them. So chances are you can just choose a card in your hand and be like, I'm going to ink this card, and that ink is good for whatever card you have. It's all good. Grand Archive, you can literally put any card you have into your memory, and you might even get them back. You might not, depending on if you spend it a certain way. But the thing that I like about that is that I think both those two methods that Lorcana and Grand Archive have cuts down on the situation where it's like, okay, I don't have the mana to pay for the cards I have, and who knows how many turns it'll be till I get them. Or, I have a ton of mana for cards that I don't have. Like I've got all my blue mana, but I've got all my black cards, things like that. And you're kind of stuck if that's the case. Yeah. And that can kind of screw up your game. At least, I don't know. Did you kind of feel the same way, or is that like...
Yeah, no, that was going to be one of my things. Because I feel like a lot of times, whenever it's a deck building game or dice rolling or, anything that has kind of more luck than strategy into the game, which all three of these games really do have. But this one in particular, it seemed like it was especially difficult, or has the potential of being very difficult in the luck just not being on your side when you're dealing your cards. Like, there was in the starting decks, both times that we played with the red and blue deck, like the time you had it, you couldn't get any of your islands for blue. The time I had it, I couldn't get any cards for red, and all I had was red cards. So, it was like turn after turn where we just couldn't do anything. Like, my situation ended up being a lot harder than yours, but it was one of those things where it's like, okay, again, I can't do anything. Again, I can't do anything. Again, I can't do anything. And that gets really depressing and not fun. So
yeah, and that the game is not long, which for that aspect I think it's both a positive and a negative. Because it's positive because if you have a bad game, it's pretty easy to just be like, let's just reshuffle and try this again. No big deal. But on the other hand, if the game was structured to be longer, because usually, if you're not playing the Commander version, you're playing till you do 20 points of damage to the other person, you might be able to catch up from behind. But I feel like in this, and you can do a mulligan when you draw your first hand, where you shuffle them back in and draw a new hand with one less card. But even sometimes that only gets you like a turn or two of good stuff, and then you could have like a big chunk of nothing. Yeah. And you miss a few turns, and it's real hard to, it's just not easy to come back from.
And I know for myself, especially like if when learning a game, if I run into a game like that where like I'm just not able to do anything for half the game basically, then even though I know I'm learning the game, like it makes me not want to play the game and not want to learn more. I know for me that's like we kept playing, but like like almost right away I was like regardless of how the rest of the games go, like this is almost automatically pushing itself down the list between the 3 games.
Yeah, it's not that in the other games you can't come into a situation where you can't do something, but I think it feels less common and it feels like it doesn't last as long, in my opinion.
Yeah, and with Lorcana, I don't think there was ever a time where I felt like I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's like there's always at least something that I could do. It might not feel like a great thing that I can do, but like I could at least do something. There was times with Magic where I draw my card and that was the only thing I could do that entire phase. Like I had no lands to put out. I couldn't put out any creatures, enchantments. I literally all I did was draw, and then it was his turn. With where Lorcana is like I can at least ink something, and and then I'm more than likely able to put something out. It might not be the best card, or I might be, might not want to put that card out right away, but like I could if I want it. If I decided to, I could put that card out.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's very true. Of the methods we played, one being I'm not the expert here, okay? I believe it's the standard format, and the other being Commander. I do think, even though there's a little more to track, I think I like Commander better, mainly because when I'm building a deck, like I'm always like, okay, well I should probably take 3 of these cards because it's good, and I'll take like 2, I think, whatever. And so that's cool and that's fine, but like at the end of the day, your 60 card deck, when like 40% of that is lands, like you're only really picking a few cards. And I think it's kind of fun in Commander that each card has to be different, other than your lands, of course. And they can be also, if you're playing like organized play, like it can be from any set. Like I do not like this thing where, in Standard, if I go into a game store, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, that set's 4 sets old, so you can't use it. I understand why. I get it, because, then the people with a lot of money can go and buy the powerful old cards and play. I get it. I just want to play the stuff I bought. You know what I mean? And I think the other games might eventually get to the point where they do that too, but I kind of like the Commander way. But I don't know, what did you like one or the other better?
Yeah, I think if I was going to play it again, I would prefer the Commander version. I do like that, I know I at least have a powerful card that I can get out if I need to. I like that the Commander doesn't just actually like go away.
Yeah.
It just costs more to put them out, but you don't feel like it's risky to put out your Commander. Like when we played Warhammer, like, you want to protect your Commander at all costs.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of used to that mindset. And so it was nice to be able to like, oh yeah, I can toss them out there and they can do a couple hits and then come back and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of dug that too. So I think it'd be interesting to try to make my own Commander deck sometime, but we didn't get into all that because we're just trying to get the basic stuff that I think, new people would be trying to do. I don't think, at least so far, I don't believe they're, at least in any official way, making those formats in Lorcana or Grand Archive. I'm sure in the future they'll do things to like be like, let's play it this way now, and whatever. But talking about what's available here. Magic, a lot. Just a lot. It's pretty damn easy to get in any game store and get, for sure, like probably the newest couple sets at least, and oftentimes quite a few older ones too. Like there's a game store we have in our mall that has, I don't even know how many sets of like booster boxes up on their wall behind the counter, like just spanning years and years. You can find stuff for this if you want to, pretty much anywhere. A lot of places have, Best Buy has them as well if you don't have a game store nearby, and, Target. Sometimes I think ours gave up on it because they kept getting stolen or something, or causing riots.
They still have it.
Do they? Yeah. I never see them anymore. But anyway, regardless, you can find them at places like that, which is nice. Lorcana, they just came out with their second set not very long ago. And I'm seeing online a lot of people are seeing the cards show up in stores more, like actually have them in stock. I hadn't until like maybe yesterday seen a booster pack for the new set in a store anywhere near us. I finally saw some, but it's, you know, maybe it's just taking time to get over here. I don't know. They are, I think, a little easier to get. Still not super easy to get. If you have any really valuable cards from the first set that were really valuable during the first set, they've gone down. They've gone down a bit, just to warn you. My enchanted bell card is like cut in half, or not literally cut in half. The value has been cut in half, but that's okay. I don't care. It's still a cool card, so it's fine. I didn't pay that much for it, so I got it in a booster pack. That's great. But yeah, it can still be a little bit of a struggle. I think that will keep improving.
It's also the new hotness. So yeah, anytime you have a game that's that popular right out the gate, it's gonna be hard to find when it first comes out. So
yeah,
you know, and like you said, Magic is pretty much anywhere, so that's very easy to get your hands on. Grand Archive, I think, is actually going to be the toughest one to actually find because not as many locations are carrying it.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get online. Like, you can easily go and buy it online right now, but as far as walking into store and finding it, I think that's just going to depend on your region. I only know one store out here that has it. There might be more. There's a lot of stores in our area, but I only know of one. But you can get the cards, which is nice. I mean, it is easier than Lorcana. You can usually get them below MSRP, which you still can't do with Lorcana yet. Maybe one day things will be on sale, but not yet. It's still hard to find them at MSRP at a lot of online places, for sure. I found a little breakdown, and now I'm well aware there's a lot of factors here, but I broke down these games by card what the cost is. Now, I'm ignoring things such as rarity, all that stuff, because that's I'm not like an astrophysicist here, okay? Yeah, like if you're trying to get in the game and you're not worried about collecting and you just like thinking like what's the most economical one, because they all come in like different, you know, booster pack sizes and sets, everything. So I tried to figure out MSRP, and I broke it down by the MSRP cost of a booster box, and then how many cards are in there and how much each game cost. Okay,
is that factoring like this game has this many cards in a deck and this game has?
No, because I think they're all the same. Okay. I think they're all basically the same. Okay. I think they're all at 60. So Magic is 36 cents per card. Lorcana is 50 cents a card. And Grand Archive is 38 cents a card. So Magic is the cheapest. But that being said, if you look for sales, that changes the dynamic a lot.
And it's not shocking that Lorcana is more expensive because it is an IP game. So. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You know, I love the art in the Magic cards for the most part. I mean, they have a lot of artists, I think. So, I mean, some are better than others.
I really like the artwork through all three games.
Yeah, me too.
I think as far as the artwork goes, it's just going to be personal preference.
Yeah.
If you're more fantasy-driven, Magic, of course, is going to be your game. If you like anime, Grand Archive is going to be your game. If Disney, of course, it's going to be Lorcana.
Yeah, it's hard to really compare these three on art because it's all different. There are a few like random scatter like Magic cards that they do in an anime style, but it's not like a whole set. It's like I don't know how frequent, but they just kind of toss them in here and there. Okay, so I think we've kind of said in terms of like ease of getting into it, learning how to play it, I should say. Lorcana is the easiest, followed by Grand Archive, followed by Magic.
Yeah.
Is that also the order that you like them in?
It
Lorcana,
is.
Grand Archive, Magic.
Yeah. It is. With a game like this, I want it to be something that I want some strategy to it, but I also don't want it to be too heavy as far as having the complexity of reading cards and figuring out all the moves I need to do. And so because it is kind of in that order, like I had the most fun in the order. And then, like we said in the other video, like I am a big Disney fan myself. So that on top of like, if I even took the fact that Lorcana is a Disney game out of it, I think I would still like that. But to include that factor into it, it just pushes it that much higher up the list for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, I'm pretty much in the same order. It's to me, it's very close between Lorcana and Grand Archive because I just like them both. I mean, really, they're both pretty tight. But I think Lorcana has a nice balance of like ease of play, but still having the strategy there. And then Grand Archive just gets a little bit more complex. It's not crazy, but a little bit more so. And again, I still do like Magic the Gathering. It's popular for a reason, and I can see why people enjoy it. But it's just kind of a little bit tougher, and I can tell that in order to really do well, it's going to take a lot of time to like get the hang of it and figure out how to like really balance things out better in the deck and figure out the cards I need to kind of get through my deck to get the cards I need when I don't have it. There's a lot. So I think like currently, like I'm pretty much all in on Lorcana. Like I like that. I'm happy to have that and collect that pretty regularly. Grand Archive, as long as they don't go at this breakneck pace that like Magic does, I would actually still collect that one pretty heavily too. Magic, I want to have cards around, and I want to like probably like build some decks that I can just play at any time. In case I mean, it's easy to find. I mean, I've got friends that play it, and it'd be cool just to be like, oh, let's just do a really quick, pickup game like that. But I think for that, it's just, if there's a set that interests me because of the theme or whatever, I'll probably get some cards from it then. But I'm not going to try to keep up with Magic. For one thing, it is too fast. Like it's crazy how fast they come out with things. I don't know. Lorcana might be trying to match that. I'm not sure, but I definitely can't keep up with.
I think Lorcana is going to eventually slow down. I think right now, because they don't want to make too many. Like when they're releasing a new thing, like they try to pull from a lot of different Disney genres, and so they wouldn't be able to make it very balanced if they pulled in as many of the different characters that they want to. And so I think they're trying to just pull in as many characters as they can, and then once they get a good establishment of the characters that they really want to have, I think then it'll start kind of slowing down.
I think so too. And the next set has DuckTales, which are characters I really want to have. So that's cool. So, that's my current plan anyway, at least, until something else we try out changes my mind. But I think Magic's going to be a strictly casual thing for me, for sure. And, there's other anime themed card games I'd like to try, and maybe we'll compare those to Grand Archive and see if one of those topples it. But, I think those two for me are a little better, easier to get into. For you, again, if you're going to be going out to stores playing things, and that's what you want to do, which a lot of people do, Magic is probably the easiest one to do that with. Yeah, followed by Lorcana, followed by Grand Archive, depending on your area. But, if you're just going to play casually, not in events, I think, Lorcana, Grand Archive, Magic is probably the order I would prioritize them, everything else aside.
Yeah, I mean, I think, depending on how you want to play, I think, if you're a little bit more casual gamer or just want something that's a little less heavy, Lorcana for sure. I kind of go back and forth between Magic and Grand Archive just as far as, the easeability of being able to play it with other people.
Yeah.
Depending on your area, it might be very difficult to do Grand Archive.
Yeah.
But if you get it and you like it, then you can talk to your game store and try to lead a gameplay night of it so that you can get other people interested in it. So, I know there's a couple of game stores that, we when Marvel Crisis Protocol came out, we were really into it, and so there was a game store that we were going to that talked to us about coming out and kind of being the leaders for that to help build the community there. We didn't have the time to do it at the time, but I wish we would have.
Yeah, me too. It would have been fun. But yeah, that's a game. I think it's very much worth a try, and if you're the kind of person who is willing to wrangle other people into trying it and try to get a community going, I think it's a game that deserves it. I think it deserves that chance. So go for it. I would never tell anyone that they shouldn't play Magic the Gathering because I like it. But just my preference is that order. So any other thoughts? Okay. So that's that. We've now compared the three games. You know where we stand with it. Because a lot more people love Magic the Gathering than either of the other two, honestly. There might be comments, but Again, total noobs. Total noobs. There's many things that we don't know about that, but that's going to be the case with people. So, all right. Other than that, coming up on the channel, we're going to be reviewing something. Over there on the table, I am trying to organize Oathsworn. I don't know if that'll be our next review because there's a lot going on. But it is a game I want to review, and I'm making it so it's reasonably playable now. We'll be having our top 50 games of all time sometime in the not too distant future, because I think we're actually a little later than we've done it in the past, so that's coming. And I don't know, I think that's about it for the moment that we have currently planned. There will be more things. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe and click the little bell icon so you can know about the next time we put out a video. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you all around the table again at All Games New and Old. Bye.
Find the right angle and then stay still.
Hey, don't move. Don't move. You moved. Stop it. You're a statue. You're a statue. You're a bad statue. You're like a Jello statue.
I want to play more games.
That's amazing. We should try replacing us with those. Just see if anyone notices. Hey, you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like it, share it, and click this button to subscribe. If you like that one, you might also like this one.
Or this one.
I cannot believe what I did in that one. Holy cow.
I can.
Of course you can. All right. Anyway, we'll see you around the table.
Bye.
Bye.